Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about vowels, especially when it comes to teaching your child to be a stronger reader. The first tip I have for you today is to make sure your child knows what a vowel is. A vowel are the letters A, E, I, O, or U. Sometimes Y, yes, I know that's always in the rhyme, but typically children learn Y as a consonant first. So keep tuned in for my future video on consonants. So once your child knows what a vowel is, we want to teach them the letter sound correspondences. That's a really big term for what sound does that letter make. And vowels actually make more than one. The first tip is to make sure your child, when they're making a sound, try to avoid repeating it many times over. So rather than saying A says ah, 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 try to say it just one time. You can stretch it out if you find that's helpful. A says ah. The reason this is helpful is because once your child is using these sounds to sound out a word, they won't go ah, 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 t, 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 t. They will just go ah, t. So much simpler the second way. My second strategy is to use a word as a reminder for what sound that letter makes. So A says ah, like in apple. Drawing that picture and having that word as a reminder for your child will be really helpful because the vowel sounds can be tricky to remember. One thing I want you to remember when you're choosing a word as the picture or word to help your child remember the sound is to avoid the letters M or N as the second letter. There's a big speech sound reason for this, but we'll avoid the boring description. I'll just give you the example. The letter A makes the short sound at the beginning of apple and ant. But you can hear that in the word ant, because the second letter is an N, it kind of changes that first sound. So try to avoid words that have M or N as the second letter. My third tip is to use a multisensory approach to learning letter sound correspondences. This could mean your child lays on their belly on the carpet while they draw out the letter and say A says ah. Simply saying that phrase, A says ah, out loud is multisensory because your child is actually getting that auditory information back into their brain. And lastly, my tip is to teach short vowel sounds first and long vowel sounds second. Short vowel sounds are when vowels say short sounds. A says ah, E says eh, I says eh, O says ah, and U says These are very important early in a child's learning career because many of the words that they will be sounding out use these short vowel sounds. Words like tap, set, bit, cop, or cup all have short vowel sounds. Once your child has mastered short vowel sounds, you can move on to teaching them the long vowel sounds. And the long vowel sounds are just the letters' names. A says A, E says E, I says I, O says O, and U says U. The reason I teach this second is because when you're using long vowel sounds to read a word, there's a rule involved in that. Some of you may know the magic or silent E rule. But these rules are for more experienced readers. The first sounds we want to teach are short vowel sounds. And make sure your child knows that the sounds that they're learning are short or long vowel sounds. Those are my 5 tips to make your child a stronger, more confident reader when it comes to vowels. Happy reading, and we'll see you soon.